All right. Red Black Titan. This is a deck that I've enjoyed in this format. This is one of the decks I'm considering playing on Saturday for Magic Arena Standard MCQ event. Hey, Min-Maxed. Thanks for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Bezo bucks are just as good as regular dollars. I appreciate you taking the time to drop that off and keeping me around. This deck has been the closest thing to a playable mid-range deck I've experienced in this format. So we've got some good aggressive elements here with Kroxa and the Phoenix, and then ways to fuel the graveyard. Today we're trying out some Knight of the Ebon Legion as a playable one-mana spell. We got a number of interactive elements in this deck, from Agonizing Remorse and Bonecrusher Giant to Bedevil and Murderous Rider here. A couple of Embercleave here at the top end to close things out. So let's go ahead and dive on into a match here with this and see how it goes. The black-white sack deck is like, to split hairs a little bit, is more of an engine deck than a mid-range deck. The sack deck isn't really interactive like I consider most mid-range decks to be. It's just kind of a slower engine deck. I've not tried Rix Maddie, but I also don't really think it's a card I'm super interested in trying personally, because one of the matches where Rix Maddie really shines is the control matchup, and the fact that like the control deck in this format is playing a bunch of Narsets means that the matchup where it's supposed to be good, it falls short a lot of the time. Our historic build was sweet. We 5-0'd the event that we were playing with it in like less than an hour. Or just barely an hour, sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch with this and just Murderous Rider this and attack them for 2. And there's also that question. I kind of like all the cards we're currently playing. And like, you're playing 60 cards, so like, if you want to fit Rix Maddie in here, what are you cutting and why? Huh? I think I'm actually going to go bottom here. Well, I guess if I keep... Now, Rampage is bad because they've got the 1/1. Yeah, I'm going to double bottom here. So this way, hopefully, I can draw a land next turn and play a 2-drop and a 3-drop. Or 2-3-drop, sorry. I would really like 4 mana Kaya. It's a card I would like to see added to Historic. I think that card's really sweet. If I play Kroxa here, I can escape Kroxa next turn. I kind of think I just want a Bonecrusher plus Knight here, though. I think that adds the most pressure to the table. I think this deck's aggro matchup is very good. And if you're losing to aggro, you're either getting incredibly unlucky or you're not evaluating how you're supposed to be using your mix of answers versus their mix of threats appropriately in most of your games. I think if I felt this deck was poor against aggro, I wouldn't play it. I just like would write it off. I think I want to attack with both of these and then play like Phoenix on defense, Murderous Rider on defense. I think double Kroxa is much worse than putting a lifelink creature in play here. And like even this turn really kind of highlights not only the strength of this deck, but like some of the nuance that you have against the aggressive matchups, right? Like the number of permutations that turn could have gone through there that we just had was like really high, right? Like I had a lot of different spells I could cast. I had a lot of different orders I could cast them in. I had 2 different creatures that activated abilities I could be activating. Is this deck any good? No, I think it's terrible. That's why I'm considering playing it in the MCQ tournament this weekend. So cleave on this makes it 8. It gives it +3 power. So if I don't block, I die to cleave because I take exactly 16. If we block here, next turn Kroxa's lethal if they have any lands in hand, which I think is good. Because they go block, block. No, they're actually just dead, right? Because they only have 2 blockers. They go block, block, take 8. They're dead on board. Yeah, because this doesn't block. They're actually just dead to me attack with all. Starcon, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Glandia. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're at. Instead of me telling you your deck idea is bad, Naya, can you tell me why it's good? Why do you think Black Devotion could be good in the current format? What is it doing that seems reasonable? So we're definitely the control deck in this matchup. We're gonna bring in Shocks and Redcaps and the extra Bedevil. We're gonna trim these Embercleaves, trim our discard spells. We want as many cards as possible that play to the board, while taking something like a Torbrand or a Cleave feels good in general. You don't want to be drawing cards like Agonizing Remorse when you need something to kill something they have in play. I think Eat to Extinction is actually a little bit better than Angrath Rampage here, just because rampaging their sword is often too late. In addition to this exiling Annex being useful, my opponent showed us they have Phoenix in their deck here, so that's another card we don't mind exiling. I missed that. I didn't read their reasoning. Can you imagine, right? I can't even fathom decks using Heliod Ballista combo have to prove themselves consistently in competitive tournaments. In addition, many decks that include this combo do so alongside other primary game plan, which means more diversity gameplay and fewer games ending with combo. Can you imagine who wrote this sentence while justifying Splinter Twin being banned. Like, that, again, like, my biggest complaint about how they manage their flipping ban list is stuff like that. Like, that's just completely unreasonable. Like, I can't even imagine writing that down while you keep Splinter Twin banned in Modern. Like, it's just, it's unreal. That deserves a tweet, right? I'm gonna tweet that. Let's highlight this and tweet it. We're gonna keep this hand, by the way, but I'm gonna tweet this text first. Gonna add it to the chain. Easy tap land. They haven't finished evaluating the effect of unbanning Stoneforge Mystic if they unban to something like that. The MVP, welcome to Hoaglandia. Thanks for the Prime support. There's a lot of great places you can send that every month here on Twitch. Thanks for sending it my way this month and keeping me employed. You have 12 discard spells. 12? That doesn't seem like a real number. Well, that's just rude. I got Stoneforge Mystic banned to begin with. So, there were a lot of cards in Modern that were banned because they were too good in their respective standard formats. And they just banned them preemptively. Which I personally think was very silly. But it is what it is. I think we're just bedeviling this one, right? That's fine. You could maybe make a cheeky argument for bedeviling my own creature here to counter their Bonecrusher, but I think I just want to, like, make sure that they're robber. Like, I feel like we're pretty far ahead in terms of resources in this game right now, even if our health total's a little bit low. Just want to, like, cut off their ability to generate card advantage from here, I think. Is there a format with no ban list? There is not. Even Vintage has a restricted list, and they have, anti-cards banned in Vintage. Hashtag free the anti. Was it worth holding Bedevil to play around Torbrand? I don't know, maybe. No harm, no foul. I think I escaped Phoenix on defense here. And then I have my 6 land, so I can go 6 land, double 3-mana spell next turn. There's got to be some block constriction. I mean, standard went years without banlist updates, right? That is unfortunately not one we can bedevil. So this coming down changes my game plan a good deal here. I think it's just bedevil the Steamkin, play this other Phoenix, try and kill them before they can kill me with this. It's easy to go years without banning cards if you only print bad cards. That's true. That's true. Big agrees. Wow, they're unlucky. Okay, so... what if I just, like, pump this, hit them to 8, play Knight as a blocker, like, pass with Shock Up as well, and, like, try and kill them in the air next turn? I think that's the good line. You're the worst, Toasted. It's the stone cold bratwurst. I am, Willie. Super excited for Historic and what that can develop into here. Alright, never not dead to cleave. I agree, Ak. Big agree. I think that's a pretty popular opinion around these parts, though, Chuck. Do we shock to prevent cleave? That's a thought. So the problem with shocking to prevent cleave is then I can't kill them in combat next turn. So I think playing around cleave here is wrong, because I'd rather kill their Phoenix than kill them next turn. What makes this deck good? What makes this deck bad? We're playing a lot of individually powerful cards that also have reasonable synergy alongside of each other in some cases, and we also have the ability to close games out efficiently with cards like Kroxa and Embercleave of our own. It's a traditional good stuff mid-range deck. Which, to be fair, if you're a newer Magic player who mostly plays Standard, you haven't seen... If you started playing Magic after War of the Spark, you actually haven't seen a good stuff mid-range deck really be competitive in Magic, in Standard, so I guess it's hard to fault people for not understanding, like, what the appeal is here. This is also one of the many decks you'll find on my website. So, like, if you find yourself enjoying this deck after seeing it played today, you can go up there and find a playlist with a bunch of other times we played it in the past. Yeah, this is fine. We're on the draw. Need a third land pretty badly, but have a lot of shots to get it. Alright, that's not the land, but it gives us something to do on the second turn here. You've been playing it since New Phyrexia, so you're probably used to evaluating mid-range decks at least a little bit then, right? I would imagine. Okay, that's not the black source I wanted for Christmas, but it'll at least let us cast a spell next turn. Gosh, Growth Chamber Guardian. That card's still legal. Nah, Timaroko was not a mid-range deck. Timaroko was a ramp deck. Played 8 1-mana accelerants and 4 Once Upon a Time to find them more consistently. It was a ramp deck. Benkosu, thank you for the 19 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I think I just call the dead here. Feels bad, man. Are we dead? I feel like we're dead. Mire Triton doesn't seem like a good card. Alright, so I'm going to give you a 10-minute break for just being lazy. As always, remember, generic comments like that are not helpful. They're not constructive. If you'd like to explain why you feel a card isn't good, that's always welcome. We can help you diagnose and work through the details. But just card's bad. There's nothing I can work with there. We called the dead and nobody was home. Piece of granola in my throat, chat. Again, just like similar to the red aggro matchup, I mostly want to board into cards that play to the board here. I don't think this is an Eat to Extinction matchup. They're a little bit smaller than that, so. You wanted Fair Pioneer. Yeah. Yeah. You can always find my current feelings on whatever ban list update happened by typing bans in chat, Gala. I have a thread on Twitter that I'm basically updating as I have thoughts and feelings on it. Mire Triton has the merfolk synergy. Yeah, exactly. Sunday, thank you for the third of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Mire Triton just does a little bit of everything. It's just a very flexible card. It fills our graveyard up a little bit for Kroxa value. It gains us life. It's Death Touch, so it trades 1-for-1. This is basically a 1-for-1 that can pressure our opponent if they don't have something that it can trade with. But at the same time, it can also it also enables like what we're looking for in terms of card advantage in this deck. Yeah, it's not like overtly powerful and like from a raw perspective, but like it does a lot of different things you're interested in doing for sure. So the reason why I Murderous Rider there at sorcery speed on my turn is because if I pass to my opponent and they just don't activate their Growth Chamber Guardian, I won't get to use my mana for the turn, and that wouldn't be ideal for me. Now, the fact that they had Thrash Threat makes me feel a little bit bad because I kind of got punished for being conservative there with my play, but I think I still made the correct choice. I think I just do this and this. Like, I really don't care about Shadow Spear here because, like, while the life gain's kind of annoying, like, when my deck takes over the game and closes, like, them being at a little bit higher life total usually doesn't matter. Getting pretty punished for wanting to play this instead of playing the Bedevil this turn. I think I just pass. Attack with Phoenix. I have 3 cards in the bin at the moment. Kroxa needs himself +5, so 6 total. Hopefully they have like another Thrash here and they try and kill my knight or something, and then I get to Bedevil in response, which would be ideal. If they attack with both here, I'm gonna block Pelt Collector and Pump. If they attack with just this, we will Bedevil it. Let's get that right on out of there. Goodbye, friend. Pelt Collector does tick up to a 4/4 and then a 5/5 with Shadow Spear. But that's really not that big of a deal because my knight can get Death Touch to trade with it. Gonna go ahead and keep pecking away in the air here. A good day to... Isn't it always a good day to not play around Veil of Summer? That has reach. Sure. Tradesies. It does also get shocked. You're not wrong. Veil is legal in Modern and Legacy and Vintage. Stone Coil Serpent. Wow, that's really good actually, huh? They banned once upon a time. They banned once. They did not ban Veil. Right, they're out of cards here though, right? So I get to do this, and then like Knight trades with this. I'm up to 6 cards in my bin. I could just escape this, huh? That's probably not good enough though. If I escape this, they equip this, and then gain 7 back. But I could probably kill them on the backswing, huh? Let's do it. Mind unblocking you on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle? I always unblock people that give me money. It's so easy to do. Guess that is just a big old blocker, isn't it? Great Henge. Great Henge is really scary. It just gains them life every turn, too. Can you quickly scroll through all the people you have blocked on Twitter? If you want, I can send you an export. I'm pretty sure you can export your Twitter block list to a CSV, so you can easily import it on other accounts. And then, yeah, this has reach, so this can't attack in. And this is pro gold, so this can't attack in. I was kidding, but I'll keep that in mind. Interested in your block list? Yeah, I think this game snowballs away from us from here. So, like, the fact that they, like, had no cards in hand and then, like, drew this, makes it a pretty tall order. I've already burned. I only have 2 Bedevils in my main deck, so, like, I don't have another artifact destruction for this. Yeah, super dead. That was our bubble match for Diamond, too, wasn't it? That's super unfortunate. That's fine. Let's try and win the next 2. Alright, so we're nowhere near done with this deck, but I'm going to go ahead and hit a quick ad roll because I need to run to the bathroom and brush my teeth anyways. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere. right, Red Black Titan, I believe in you. Let's get us to the Diamond 4 rank floor. Hand's pretty good. Knight seemed like a really good addition so far. Someone had asked about potentially testing Dreadhorde Butcher in here. That might be okay. This card, when this card flips over an escape card, it's like, just like Elvish Visionary with Death Touch, it's like, you're so tasty. You're such a tasty 2-drop. Teamer? Sultai. Interesting. So, Knight of the Ebon Legion, moving on up here. Solid curve for us on the play. Mire Triton's just really good curve filler. Let's go 1, 2, 3 right up the curb. Hey, Illustru Field is back on the menu, and I'm super excited. Thanks for the 7 months. Welcome back. We'll be playing some Yarok Field on Thursday for sure. Thursday is going to be... I'm going to be starting a little bit later than normal on Thursday. I'm going to be starting about 10 a.m. when the patch goes live. We're going to be doing like 6 or 7 hours of all historic is the plan at the moment. And then Friday, we're going to go back to doing a little bit of everything. But I think we're still going to do 2 historic decks on Friday. And then... if you're a fan of historic, how much we do moving forward will depend on what the viewer count looks like past that. Now, what is this opponent doing? They played like Sultai stuff and then conceded. Probably some kind of control deck. I feel like Rampage and Bedevil are probably trims here. Ashiok doesn't seem terrible. They're probably playing Uros, and this exiles their graveyard. Eat to Extinction and Duress could both potentially be okay here. Yeah, they could be a Reclamation deck. They probably have Nissa at the very least. I'm going to trim a Mire Triton because they don't seem to be particularly aggressive, and this card's mostly for the aggressive matchups. If you're Yarok, might not be what I remembered. Maybe. We'll see. The deck was very reasonable against like mono red aggro and stuff, but that was pre-cleave. So I'm interested to see how it does into like a post-cleave mono red setting. Great. Everybody says easy growth spiral here. Remember arguing with a friend pre-throne that Cleave did poorly against Felix, she throws zombies under for days? I don't think that's really true. I'm bottom that, looking for another land here for sure. I think the combo variations of mono red that exist in the current standard can be a little bit frustrating. I think in general, red aggro is something I really don't mind playing against though. Hey, afternoon elusive. Yeah, Raid was happy with the last stream I did, so they asked me to do another. So we'll be doing a Raid segment tomorrow afternoon at the end of the stream. So doing all of the same magic we had scheduled, but I'll just be running 2 hours longer to do some Raid at the end again like we did before. If you didn't install Raid last time and would like to check it out, real easy way to support my content is to install it using my link there on mobile or desktop. If you do enjoy Raid, there's a bunch of, after you install it, there's a bunch of us that are talking about in the subs Discord. We've got 4 or 5 Hooglandia related clans. I play it a bunch off stream on my cell phone. Most of my off stream gaming time is cell phone related. Pre-children, I didn't really play mobile games really, but post-children, mobile games are way more convenient. Especially turn-based games like Raid, where you can like pause and walk away. Even the PvP aspect of Raid you can walk away from, because it's more similar to like a tower defense style thing, where like they set up their thing and you attack it. Nice, Normal. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So we've got Rider. They have a 4/4. I think I just escaped Kroxa, right? And then, like, they kill Kroxa, and then I Ashiok myself next turn and replay Kroxa. There are a number of people in the subs Discord that said they've been playing Raid completely free to play. I spend dollars on every game that I play usually that I end up getting into, so I'm not really a good metric to speak to that, but other people have said it's reasonable. Board games are really easy to play with newborns around. Like, newborns are super easy. It's not until the kids are like 6 to 9 months when they like roll over and crawl that things get more complicated. People always made out the newborns to be troubling. It's the grown children that are troubling. So, not enough cards in there just yet. I think I just Ashiok and exile their bin here. It also fills my graveyard up for escaping Kroxa again next turn. So again, regardless of who Ashiok mills, you exile the opponent's graveyard. I've had configurations of this deck with Ashiok in the main, just because, as you can see there, it just drew us a Phoenix of Ash, basically. It's a really reasonable card in this archetype. It's possible I want 2 in the sideboard still, with cutting them from the main deck. Ooh, that's a really good suggestion. Yeah, if Scape Shift is going to be a deck in Historic again with Field of the Dead coming back, Ashiok main sounds super appealing. Not only is the Ox escape cost really high, but like this deck doesn't struggle to have escape cards to get in the bin. So like with 8 escape cards, you almost always have one when you want to escape something. So I don't think Ox really solves a problem that we have. Yeah, we had Ashiok and Rankle in the last build of this deck, and I cut those cards to try Knight today. And so far, Knight's felt pretty good. Lets us be a little bit more aggressive in spots, which has been decent. Yeah, and that's not to mention when Ashiok just like randomly like hoses your opponent's graveyard deck game 1. Okay, bubble match for that rank floor again. Let's see if we can do it. I believe in us, chat. Do you believe in us? I believe in us. I believe. Sure. Hand's decent. Take their Thought Erasure here, since I have... If I didn't have the second Agonizing Remorse, I think I would just take their Trawler right away. But because I have the second Remorse, I think I can afford to wait. For those wondering, 29 weeks, 3 days, 11 hours, 15 minutes, and 10 seconds until 3 minutes after he rotates out of standard. Not that I'm counting. Not that I want it to be implied that I'm counting, but, you know, that much time till he's gone. Who's counting it, really? Yeah, but like, if they scorn the Kroxa, that's still like a 2-for-1, and like I have more cards to fill my bin up here. That's so brutal. This could very well lose us the game, because they get to take our Agonizing Remorse, so we don't get to take their Dream Trawler. I mean, Scorn hits, what's it called, too. So, like, your point's not relevant. Like, Uro gets hit by Conqueror's Death and also... Uro gets hit by Conqueror's Death and also gets hit by, what's it called? Let's just play both of these out, huh? Let me get to guaranteed Kroxa next turn. Again, you want to prioritize leaving enchantments and creatures in there if possible. Oh, because of Calls the Dead. I probably should have fetched first and delved or escaped the Fabled Passage. Do you have a Shatter? Kaya's Wrath. Yep, that's unfortunate. The 6th land too, that's so brutal. One card short here, unfortunately. Yeah, I think they had that land last turn and they held it in case I could escape Kroxa again, which is smart. Alright, so they've got 2 draws. They've got 2 draws to find a way to deal with Kroxa. Otherwise, Kroxa plus Cleave is going to come bearing down on them next turn, which is great. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should have attacked with this first, because I could have cleaved it if they blocked. Although they had Conqueror's Death, so I guess that works out okay. So if they hit break, they're dead here. Got that going for us. Survey says... I think I'm just looking for more cards that fill my graveyard at this point. Really? Wow, my read, that's gotta be wrong, right? They really just didn't want to get hit by the sword that turn, I guess? Why would they, maybe they misclicked? Maybe they forgot it triggers on attack too? I think they might have, maybe they just forgot it triggers on attack too. Oh, I forgot to equip the sword. That's a huge deal. That's awkward. Ugh. Is that gonna cost me the game? That might cost me the game. But I'll be able to pump this twice next turn. Yes, would be a 9. God, I'm so bad. I just clicked through it. I was so off put by the Mortify. I was like, Are they dead still? This is 4, 5, 6. Oh, are they actually still dead? No, I'm 1 short. Am I literally 1 short? I'm 1 point of damage short. Peel's Magic Man. But had missed 6 points of damage that turn by not equipping the previous turn. And the old 1 short after missing 6 points. I'm in danger. Well, I mean, so you're dead? Land Sweeper? Sick. Gave him an extra 2 draws. Didn't matter. So, Duress in, Libation in, Liliana in, Bedevil out, Rider out. I think this is actually a Cleave out matchup, too. I think Ashiok's fine here because it clears their graveyard from Conqueror's Death, which is good. This gives us 6 answers to resolve Dream Trawler. Let's give this a go. Yeah, Libation also edicts creatures, so. Takes out Dream. So my hand here wasn't that strong to begin with, but because my opponent has the audacity to play a discard deck, you basically keep anything with lands and spells. This was actually a great draw, because now I get to, like, get some whips and chains here, and then also play this for the turn. Opponent didn't do the power play of sacrificing this to counter the Rampage and let my Rampage resolve. So the opponent never let the Rampage resolve. So we go land, Phoenix, kill Teferi, replay Knight of the Ebon Legion. Yep. It's like the animation. Fair. Hello, wife. So graveyard filling up nicely here, hoping that the next trigger on this finds us an escape card. Would love a Phoenix or a Kroxa here. Gonna fetch our 3rd red source with this Fabled Passage. Have Bonecrusher in the tank. If this finds an escape card, we'll be in a pretty good spot in terms of grinding them out. Have an okay amount of pressure overall here too. Honey, look, I disinfected my mouse this morning.
Wait, it's blue?
It's it's dark.
Has it always been
It's
blue?
dark blue.
Has it always been blue?
Hey, this mouse is...
It's been covered in scum?
This mouse is old enough to drive, thank you very much.
How do you disinfect it? I don't see
There's
cleaning supplies.
Clorox rag in the bin. Ooh, that's a really good draw.
Clorox wipes are sold out all over town. But our stores do still have toilet paper and paper towels.
That's good. People are half listening. I think I start by attacking for 2. And then I'm going to lead on this.
It was the color of scum.
Well, they can't cast Absorb. That's so good for me. Again, Ashiok exists here to mill ourselves because Ashiok's down tick draws cards. Yeah, there should be 2 Ashioks in the 75 still. I'm liking the Knights, but I'm not sure that these should be not in the main, but I also want at least 2 in the board, I think. This mouse has been in the Hoagland family for generations. It might be, honestly. I'm gonna be so sad when this thing breaks someday. Lucky your stores have toilet paper. I'm gonna have to use leaves soon. People are wild.
They're scared. Leave them alone.
Liam's, thanks for the 2 months. Welcome back. So, almost lethal here, right? Practically. Close. I'm gonna hold this back because they need a sweeper here anyways.
I think the people buying toilet paper are more sane than the women in my mommy groups who are suggesting people just take a lot of vitamin C, and if they're exposed, make sure you eat elderberries.
What's up, youngest son?
Because elderberries cure everything.
I was gonna stand that.
That was sarcasm. Do I have to
Look at Declan, we're diamond.
point that out?
We came in, you came in, and we won. Are you lucky? Are you good luck? You're a good luck 4-year-old?
Not a computer. It looks like it.
It's a new keyboard.
New keyboard.
You think my keyboard is nice?
Uh-huh.
Declan approves of the keyboard, Bob. It's nicer than my old one. Sarcasm, I just bought $100,000 worth of elderberries. Sorry to impose this hardship upon you. Maybe you could flip them to other elderberry fanatics.
But there's only 100 confirmed cases in the U.S. Well, if the Cheeto would let people get tested, there'd be more. Dummies. Sorry, I hate our government.
Listen, you're gonna find good company here in despising the Cheeto. No more gunky keyboard. Ranting Bob in chat sent me, I believe it's called an MX Cherry keyboard or something like that. It goes clickety clack.
Our school district just sent out an email about how they're keeping an eye on it, but there's no confirmed cases here. I'm like, well, yeah, because we're not testing people. Sorry, I'm gonna get off my soapbox.
Do you wanna take the dirty keyboard away from him?
Hey, stop it.
If you wanna wipe it down, you can have
I
that. You don't. Love you.
It needs to be like incinerated.
It needs to be
The
incinerated.
only way to kill the germs on that thing.
I think I'm bottoming the land here, even though I eventually need to escape this. Needed to escape this, because I really like, 1, I'd like a 2-drop that impacts the board next turn ideally, and 2, I also need something to fill my graveyard for this. So, ideal draw here would be like, the Merfolk, or... I think I just play that tap. Maybe I'm supposed to shock to play this, I don't know. Paying 2 life to play something that doesn't impact the board this turn seems bad. So, from my understanding, Kashan, is that the mortality rates take into account the calculations they have for mortality rate take into account some projections for the amount of tests that are being done in cases that aren't reported. Is my understanding. If someone has a different understanding with a source on that, feel free to link it in chat. Sunglasses look great. we should, I don't know. If we do end up on home quarantines or the school's closed, maybe we'll take one of my weekday streams and stream games with Declan upstairs. I have a capture card and we could totally stream Switch games. Did that once before a while ago. Went okay. Buy stocks in Clorox, Netflix, and Campbell's. I think it's just this. We're looking... Mire Triton is perfect. So Mire Triton, if we survive, helps us stabilize a little bit more and trades with something because this does gain us 2. So, like, I get to Bedevil this, which means I'm still taking 4 this turn once this attacks. But, like, next turn I get to go Mire Triton plus play Rider as a 2/3 lifelinker. Destroy your kid and smash. Alright, with Beast drawn, I think I'm doing this and then holding up Murderous Rider is the plan. So this stops the removal spell. And then if they don't have another, I can trade with the Lovestruck Beast. So now we go Kroxa, take your last card. Murderous Rider as a 2/3 lifelinker. Oh no. Oh no. Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, just dead. Wait, I know how we finish this. Go out. Let my tombstone read I died doing what I love, chat. Drawing cards. Cell phones are like peak grimy. For sure. All right, what are we cutting here? I think this is another matchup where I'm supposed to trim Remorse, and I'm gonna trim a couple of Phoenixes. I'm gonna trim Cleaves. That's it. Let's do this. Let's do this. The governor of New York announced today that he's going to use prison labor to produce hand sanitizer. That's, that's 2020. Yep. Yep. It's just a reminder that Bernie Sanders rightfully wants to give prisoners back their right to vote, among other things. That's the literal definition. That's like lawful evil. Yeah, that sounds about right. So I think I swamp this turn, and then we Murderous Rider something, and then next turn I can shock Murderous Rider something. Sure, Neb. Yep. I guess there's no reason to do this right away, too, because they might not have a 1/1, and they could, like, go land Questing Beast here, and I'd rather Murderous Rider that. Alright, down she goes. Is it sad that I would trust information coming out of South Korea more than I would trust information coming out of the Trump administration? I feel like that's sad, but it's the reality I'm living in. I'm glad we're at the rank floor. We got pretty beat up here. Opponent's just like giving us the business. Venturing into old man subscriber territory. Thanks for the 1.5 years, Ninja Turtle Jr. Welcome back. I said South Korea, Admiral. South Korea has a reasonable government set up, from my understanding, right? The information is coming out of South Korea, yeah. Did I say North? If I said North, that's not what I intended. I think I said just Korea. Yeah, the info coming out of South Korea, like they're testing a lot of people there. Yeah. I said South. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, it wouldn't be the first time I've pulled a Biden and flubbed a important word on stream. Thankfully, I'm just a talkie box man on the internet, not a presidential candidate, though. It's appropriate for me to flub words when I'm doing 3 things at once. Go to Scoop Step. Thanks for the 22 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Why not be both? I'm not electable, chat. I'm not electable. I think I keep this because it's an untapped land for Calls the Dead on 3. Lets me go Remorse on 2, Calls the Dead on 3. Now I've got to incorporate pull to Biden into my everyday vernacular, right? When one word becomes the wrong word, right? Ain't that the truth, Bob? Ain't that the God's honest truth? That's true. I am confirmed not electable because I can't run for the position. I'd vote for Bob if he wasn't so British. Sure. If they have land, Thassa's intervention, they could still counterspell us here. Nope. Okay. Hey, we need more Sean in our lives. I think living through the Trump presidency has aged us all, and that should be extreme. You know, honestly, speaking about presidential ages, I think it was Efro had a tweet the other night that was like, we have a minimum age for president, but we should really start talking about a maximum age. And as someone who's backing Sanders this election cycle, I think I'd be pretty okay with that. What would an appropriate maximum be? Is it like 75? I feel like it would be like 70, 75, somewhere in there. No, 50 is way too young. I feel like 75 is probably about right. National retirement age. That's an interesting metric. Yeah, the retirement age actually makes a lot of sense. I was talking to my grandfather on the phone over the weekend, and he was like, they're all just too old. And I was like, you're not wrong. And for reference, for people that aren't familiar, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or Bernie Sanders, any of them will be the oldest elected president in the United States history. Just president, I believe. I don't know all elected officials. It's definitely for president, though. I wouldn't be surprised if there's senators that have been older than that. I'm old. Well, that's patently incorrect. I'm very angry, but I'm not old, chat. I am 29, for people that are not familiar with my current ripe old age. I've been a bitter old man since I was 17, though, so I've been practicing for a long while. And the fact that I have 2 children and no hair doesn't really help my cause. To Norka, thank you for the entire year of support. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. What's the minimum age? 35. You have to be 35 by the time you would be inaugurated, I believe, is the cut. If my what's it called is accurate. All right, what are we working with? Everything went so horribly wrong, chat. Everything went so horribly wrong. You're like Brazen Borrower, my Kroxa as well? Oh, God. Well, everything that could go wrong that turn went wrong. The good news is I've got enough cards in my bin. To escape this next turn. So if this is a brick, they're dead because this trigger kills them if this is a land. Yeah, I think having a minimum age is fine. So I think we just cut my Planeswalker interaction, bring in Duresses and Libations, because this gets rid of enchantments. Click submit, call it a day. Oh, I guess Ashiok over Mire Triton. Yeah, let's do that. Whoa, chat. My ISP sent us an email to let me know that there was going to be a potential service outage in my area while they work on things tomorrow. And guess what the window is that they're doing service in my area? They're doing service from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. What a novel concept. An ISP that cares, that doesn't have downtime, just smack dab in the middle of my day. God bless. Have I mentioned that my ISP is great? As that is a release-ready ISP right there, ain't that the truth? Metronet, if you're out there, I appreciate you. As someone who had Comcast before they came to town, Comcast, the stream is not sponsored by you, and bugger off, it never will be. One of the esports teams had Comcast on their sponsor reel, and I was just like, I'm so glad. Like, I wouldn't be able to hold that one with a straight face. The small service disruptions we've had with Metronet, we've had one unscheduled service disruption my entire time using Metronet, and like they had it fixed within a couple of hours. All right, so really want to draw a black source next turn so we can Ashiok. Should have been more specific, chat. Should have been more specific. So part of the problem, Admiral, was that with streaming as a job, Comcast made me pay to uncap my bandwidth each month. The amount of money I had to pay Comcast to be able to use the internet I already paid them for is almost as much as my fiber package costs in total. So I had to pay like almost $100 for the service, and then had to pay another $50 for them to uncap my service. $11, sure. That's close to reasonable. All right, so I think the plan here is, since they drew the Reclamation, go Knight, and then we'll Libation them this turn. Which, unless they find a Fabled Passage or some other cards, they're unlikely to Uro next turn. This is only card number 4 into their bin. I'm gonna let this resolve because I don't want them to scry knowing that they're about to lose this. So we'll let them scry, then we'll make them sack their enchantment, and I want to make them sack the enchantment now because I don't want them to untap and have a counterspell up. Correct. The amount of money they make is not, and what's probably the case, Admiral, is it's cheaper to uncap where you live because there's probably competitors that have it cheaper there. Like, Comcast in the area where I live didn't offer gig speed internet, and within 6 months of the fiber company coming to Bloomington, Comcast started offering gig speeds. So, like, they had the capability to do gig speeds, the market just didn't demand them to. Which, again, if you ever need a really good, clean example of how capitalism fails, just look at how our internet is handled in this country. So they're down to very little here. Yeah, I'm gonna put a second Ashiok in the deck. I've been happy with these Knights of the Ebon Legion, but I'm gonna put a second one of this in the sideboard for sure. So if they have a land, they can like kill my Knight and draw three cards. So they can kill my Knight and draw 2 here, if they'd like. They're just passing. Yep, you're not wrong, Bob. All right, so we're gonna do this, and then I think I'm escaping Kroxa. I feel like Ashiok's milled enough here. I could just pass holding up Libation, but I think I'd rather take a card out of their hand, because they do have this Brazen Borrower lurking in exile on an adventure, but I think I'd rather get Kroxa down than kill this and save Ashiok. Really kind of surprised they didn't play this last turn to kill the Ashiok. I think I'm going to start with this. That's actually a pretty good pickup. So I'm going to start by moving to combat here, because if they bounce this, I can escape this out of the bin. Cute. So I'm gonna pass here. And this is another reason why this card's really good. Because when they board into this creature plan, it also is good against their creature plan. God, I love this deck. It's so sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna be hard pressed to not play this on Saturday. This is probably the one. We're probably gonna go like 3-2 or 5-2 anyways. It doesn't really matter, but I like this deck a lot. I want another Ashiok in here. I feel like it's probably just the cheeky eat to Extinction. It's also possible that double Dreadhorde General is unnecessary. Like I have Libations and a Rampage to kill Dream Trawler, and you can just attack around it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna trim one of those. Foil for this. Let me give you money. Let me give you money, please. Please. Help. I need somebody help. Just take my money, help. Do 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 do. It says look for a bundle. There's no bundle, chat. There's no but I just want to give them my money. I want them to take my money, chat. And so there's no borderless Bedevil either. It's really a crime. Borderline criminal. In. How do you compare this to the black-white Aristocrats deck you played recently? Well, this deck's a lot more interactive than that one, which is probably the reason why I'd played this over something like the black-white deck. This deck has a lot more points of interaction. While the black-white deck felt very powerful, the number of interaction points with your opponent tends to be a little bit low, I think. Worth noting that while having a 1-drop on 1 felt good here, the way my lands work out now this game, unless I draw an untapped land next turn, I can't Calls the Dead on 3. But I can go tapped land Kroxa or tapped land Stomp, so it's like not the end of the world. It is worth noting that the 1-drop's not just completely free. They have a Domri Avatar. Are they playing Gruul? Good on you, opponent. Represent. Represent. Good chance they just play a Questing Beast next turn. So I think I'm just gonna attack them with both of these. If they want to trade, go for it. They probably can't block anyways. They might trade with either of these. They're both pretty good threats, and I'm okay with this exchange, I think, if they do trade. That's why we're offering it. I probably should have attacked before I played Titan of Death's Hunger. Give them a little bit less information before they block. So we'll Calls the Dead before we Temple here. So that way we don't mill away our Scribe. In for a Rider for sure. Next turn, we get to escape Kroxa, generate another 2/2. We'll get set up to gain some life the turn after. This game's looking like a runaway for us. Ooh. Sweet set of matches today overall. Magic's great, chat. Bad. Modern was fun this morning. Historic was great. Both the standard decks have been good. It's good. It's a good Monday, chat. World pandemics and Cheeto-colored leaders aside. Hey, we beat Esper Control in this set. Thank you very much. They bend Cleave. Yeah, that one's not super useful. They're kind of on the back foot here. Yeah, I agree, Beansy. Thursday again. I tweeted my schedule out like I always do. Thursday's going to be a later start stream because I have a dentist appointment to get new Invisalign trays, but then we're going to be running a little bit later and doing all historic on Thursday with new cards and Field of the Dead back again. As always, if you have sweet decks you'd like to submit to see played on Thursday or on a future stream, you can always do that on my website using the form there. We're going to board similar to how we boarded last time. Spot removal in, Agonizing, and Embercleave out. Pretty clean. Who won as a candidate? Who won what? Candidate for what? I mean, you should be happy if there's a reported case of coronavirus in your state, because that means they're testing people in your state. The reality is that every state probably has COVID-19 cases in it today. They're just not appropriately testing. Is Bird their only escape card? Most likely. Oh, they're a red-based Gruul deck, or they're just like Gruul playing champion. That's interesting. Yes, Trump thinks the numbers make him look bad. Okay, so we'll cap this one now, so I don't have a creature or planeswalker for it to kill. And then we'll play Ebon Legion here. Hey, that would be great, McNux. 10 out of 10. There's a couple of them. I don't know if that's helpful or stressful. Maybe a mix of the two. I think SCG and things like it will start canceling opens and other events in the face of the virus. I think it's irresponsible for them not to. But I also know that, like, those places stand to lose a lot of money canceling things like that, so they're in a tough spot. Well, they canceled some Magic Fest overseas, but SCG, like, SCG Regionals just happened, right? Like, it happened over this past weekend. The US primary season is incredibly long, so primary season is still going on. So Super Tuesday happened last week, Mortex, but full voting for the Democratic primary isn't finished until, like, May or June. I think there's some that vote as late as June. It's real awkward. The US electoral system is super medium. All right, so really need to draw a black source here. That's super unfortunate. If we find a black source next turn, we might be okay. I'm gonna turn off auto-ordered triggered abilities here. Tomorrow is another voting. Some early voting's going on today, but tomorrow, Tuesday, has more voting happening. June 2nd is the last voting. That's a good number to have on hand. Okay, so I want to stack this so I make a zombie and then scry 4, gain 4 life. Okay, so I'm going to stack this so this and this are on top. And then I can play Mire Triton, mill these, and then next turn we draw this as an untapped black source. Right? I did that right? This cannot be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, so it's just beating us down for the time being. Yes, this could be a... Generally speaking, votes that late don't tend to matter for much. This one could be very different. Maybe I should have bottomed this. Although I guess these scries don't really matter because I'm going to fetch a black source up anyways. Easy trade here before this dies to one of these shocks. I'm going to Murderous Rider to kill, I'm going to Murderous Rider to kill this as opposed to Bedevil, because Bedevil can kill an Embercleave should they find one of those down the line. So this is why I've been holding on to the shock. I want to shock one of these so that way they can't give each other first strike and attack into my 2/2s. And then again here, you'll see our deck really start to take over the game now. So these are going to trade off for all of our zombies here, but I'm going to go to 12, and then I'm going to get to start escaping these creatures. So we've stabilized the board with 1-for-1s, and then we pull ahead and generate card advantage with these escape cards that come back from our graveyard. Temple of Malice is not a swamp, so if I took the castle, it would be tapped. And again, Kroxa plus this Phoenix just closed the game out incredibly quickly and efficiently. So, like, now that we've stabilized and are taking over, it's not going to take us long to actually end the game. Alright, so we're done here. Yeah, me too, Mikey. Deck is very agile, chat. Pivots around the corner nice and smooth. How we doing, folks? Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody wherever you're in the world. Thanks for dropping in here today. If you're a new viewer, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, sometimes even 50 hours a week. If you enjoy constructed Magic, this is definitely the channel for you. I wouldn't be here day in and out without the support of all my wonderful subs, so I'd like to thank all of them for keeping me employed as always. I'd like to plug a couple of my wonderful sponsors here as well. BCW Supplies, the only ones I trust to protect my paper, Magic the Gathering cards, using code HOAGLANDIA at bcwsupplies.com. You can save 10% on sleeves, binders, deck box, and all sorts of other fantastic gaming accessories there with them. The Grimoire deck boxes are the stylish wooden boxes that can hold multiple cards, like this one here that holds about 300 individual decks, as well as up to an entire cube. You can use code JEFFMTG to save 5% on your purchases of Grimoire deck boxes. The Nerd Rage Gaming Championship Series has $10,000 tournament weekends every single month in the Midwestern United States. You can also find their streaming coverage as well at twitch.tv/NRG Series. RPH, thanks for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And of course, inkedgaming.com will love to help you customize your gaming experience. You can head over to inkedgaming.com/Jeff to save some money on your purchase there of custom mouse pads, playmats, and all sorts of other fantastic stuff. As far as Red Black Titan goes, I think I'm pretty happy with this configuration. The Knight of the Ebon Legions felt like a really, really good addition. Hey, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Again, I appreciate that. Welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Hope you feel better soon, Python. I kind of felt like this was pretty trim overall. We're mostly 4-ofs. We've got a couple of cheeky ones here. I think 2 Cleave feels about exactly correct in this deck. It's like a card you want to see to steal games and close quicker on occasion, but it's not one that I want to get gummed up and draw a bunch of copies of. The other non-4-of we have here is Murderous Rider and Bedevil. And these, in an instance like this, I kind of view these as, this is a 4-of that hedges slightly different ways. So like, in some instances, Murderous Rider is better. In some instances, Bedevil is better. These are 4 3-mana removal spells that we get to play. I think the one Angrath Rampage is fine. It's a main deck way to kill Trawler. It's another way to kill artifacts against the Temur Clover decks. We got 3 main deck artifact removal spells game 1, so I think I like where we ended up at here. I might test Dreadhorde Butcher before the event, but I don't know. I think I'm pretty happy with this, and like Dreadhorde Butcher pushes us towards being more lower to the ground, and I kind of like the mix of interaction we have. I feel like in order to fit Butcher in here, I'd have to give up Knight, which I really kind of like. The big upside to Knight is, one, its resource efficiency, but also just the fact that it can play defense as well, which is nice, whereas Dreadhorde Butcher has a singular role that it can play in decks, right? All right, we've got one more standard deck coming up here today before I'm all done. I'm going to go ahead and hit a quick ad roll on Twitch here before I dive into the next one. When we get back in just a couple of minutes, we are going to kick the tires on one of my other favorite decks in the standard format, which is 4-color Enigmatic Incarnation here. So we'll be back in just a few with some of the sweetness. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.